I just try to avoid it altogether. And if it's going to exist on these platforms, it's going to exist. I just don't read it. I don't really follow it. And he tries sniping at me a few times. He tried to like bait me with some nonsense. And I just told him to log off, like he's spiraling, and it's a little embarrassing.
So we got more Destiny coverage for you today because Ana Kasparian just completely tore into him for his deranged take on the Trump assassination. And we've talked about that extensively, but just as a quick refresher, not only does Destiny not condemn the assassination attempt against Trump, he went so far as to mock the innocent man, Corey Comparator, who was killed, and even said he wouldn't really care if his own parents were killed for supporting Donald Trump. So that is what we are dealing with, and it's refreshing to see that even some characters on the left are tearing into him, saying he's completely insane. So folks, we're going to react to that today. If you enjoy the content, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you are new. But long story short, Ana was interviewed by Elijah at the RNC, and take a listen to what she had to say about the manic breakdown of Destiny on the timeline. Let's check it out.
I feel that his comments were disgusting, and I don't agree with them. I don't think that you should make light of someone's death because you disagree with their political views. And to be clear, I did not agree with his political views, the firefighter who was killed at the Trump rally. But it doesn't mean that I think that he should die as a result, or I wouldn't celebrate his death. So I don't agree with Destiny at all. I am not closely following Destiny's very public meltdown on social media right now, and I find
one of several dozen in the last year. Yeah,
I find it incredibly dull. And to be honest with you, I feel like Destiny is an expert at garnering as much attention as possible for his own
farming.
Yeah, for his own financial interests. And so, you know, it is what it is. I just try to avoid him as much as I can because I want to have conversations with good faith people who are interested in having good faith conversations. I don't see him engaging in good faith conversations. I see him saying outrageous, controversial things for as much attention as possible. And so the question is, do you want to have these platforms reward that, or should there be, you know, terms of service that attempt to prevent that or mitigate that? And that's, I guess, it depends on what your preferences are. I just try to avoid it altogether. And if it's going to exist on these platforms, it's going to exist. I just don't read it. I don't really follow it. And he tries sniping at me a few times. He tried to like bait me with some nonsense. And I just told him to log off, like he's spiraling, and it's a little embarrassing.
So you heard there a pretty brutal assessment of Destiny as an individual from Ana Kasparian. Not only does she call his take on the situation disgusting, she goes far as to say he is bad faith. He's just engagement baiting. He's doing this as a grift for money, etc., etc. And, you know, I can't say I entirely disagree, although as much as Destiny might just be rage baiting, engagement farming, what he is doing right now, in my opinion, is actually incredibly dangerous, because it's one thing to engagement farm over some random issue. It's another thing to make light of political violence. And this is a point I made throughout the week, which is, look, even if Destiny is trolling or he's, you know, he thinks he's being taken out of context, he's not serious, he's just doing this for the clicks. Ultimately, all it takes is just one of his supporters to take his words seriously, and then we have a very dangerous and a very horrible situation on our hands. And so, yes, I think a real discussion needs to be had about that. Now, in other, but I guess related news, because Ana did bring up this point. So Kick, which is the platform that Destiny streams on, just banned him. They banned him from streaming. They took down his account for his outrageous comments that, again, were essentially cheering on political violence and all of this. And, you know, this is stirring a lot of controversy. So there you have it. Again, Destiny has been deplatformed from his main streaming service due to his outrageous comments over the Trump assassination attempt, which is what I believe to be the correct and right decision. And understandably, this is sparking a lot of debate amongst both conservatives and liberals. A lot of people on both sides are saying that the right-wingers like you, who think that the correct decision was for Kick to deplatform him, you guys are a hypocrite. So you guys supporting cancel culture now? This is a take that Destiny's been saying. New cancel culture from conservatives. Ed Krasenstein mind many other characters are saying that. So let me clarify why I actually say I stand with Kick's decision here to take down Destiny, okay? Because yes, you are right. My opinion, and I'm not wrong on this, I'm not backtracking on this, I'm not being a hypocrite about this. My opinion is that in an ideal world, I believe that all social media platforms should protect free speech. I believe that all constitutionally protected First Amendment speech should be allowed on social media platforms. But my argument on that front is a couple things. I mean, number one, I think there is a genuine debate to be had over whether if some of Destiny's comments about the Trump assassination are actually constitutionally protected. And my lean would be it probably is, but I'm not a judge. And considering some of the outrageous things he said, again, cheering political violence, you could make a debate about that. I'm not really honed in on that, though. I think the most important thing is this, is that, yes, do I believe that all the social media platforms should protect constitutional speech? Absolutely. But at the same time, we should also recognize the reality that most of them don't, right? With the exception of Twitter and Rumble, which I don't necessarily believe Destiny should be banned from, the vast majority of these other big tech platforms do have terms of service that do not allow the things that Destiny has been saying, right? It's pretty blatant, for instance, under Kick's terms of service, under YouTube's terms of service, Facebook, etc., that you're not allowed to cheer political violence. You're not allowed to mock people for dying, etc., etc. And so my take is this: even if I may principally disagree with the terms of service on a platform like Kick, I also believe that if the rules are going to be enforced, they should be enforced equally and fairly and apply to everyone. And you've seen for the past almost 10 years now, conservatives have been censored. Conservatives have been banned from platforms for saying far less things than Destiny has. And so if you turn to me and say, oh, you're a hypocrite because you think Destiny should be deplatformed, my take again is yes, should the TOS protect all free speech? I believe that. But at the same time, if the TOS does not protect all free speech, then at the very least, I think the rules should be applied just as fairly to liberals as they are to conservatives. And again, when you consider the things that Destiny is saying, he was not deplatformed for expressing liberal political views on the election or on social issues. He was again deplatformed for cheering on political violence and literal murder of individuals. And I think that is something to consider. I think that is fair, you know? And that doesn't just apply to the terms of service of social media. I think that applies to everything. For instance, the law, right? There are plenty of laws on the book that I disagree with, that I would like to see overturned, I don't think should be in place. But at the same time, if the law exists and it is going to be enforced, it is only fair that it is enforced equally, right? If there's a law in the books that you don't like, should it be enforced in regards to one person but not the other? Should it apply only to conservatives but not to liberals? That is not fair. Those are not fair standards. And so you can stand here and call me a hypocrite or pro cancel culture all that you want, but ultimately nothing I am saying is hypocritical. My entire argument is, and always has been, I may disagree with the rules, right? That happens all the time. Maybe you disagree with some rules, but if the rules are going to exist and they're going to be enforced, they should be enforced fairly. And you have Destiny out here cheering on political violence and like having no issues with it, refusing to condemn it. If a conservative said that on Kick, what do you think would happen to them? If a conservative said that on YouTube, Facebook, etc., all these different social media platforms that have pretty strict rules against this stuff, right? He blatantly broke the terms of service. Why should it be the case that only liberals are allowed to break the terms of service and not get banned, but conservatives, even if they arguably don't break the terms of service, even if they kind of just walk the line, some moderators out there going to ban them? No, that is not fair, right? Again, I believe in equal justice for all, which is precisely why it is fair that Destiny is banned from Kick. Okay, that's just the reality of the situation. And so with that said, folks, let me know your thoughts on all of this in the comment section down below. Do you think I'm a hypocrite? Do you disagree? What do you think of Anna's comments? Let me know. Be sure to leave a like on this video, subscribe to the channel if you are new, and until next time, God bless and peace.